Hello folks, I hope you had a great weekend. Lompanow here doing some voiceover for you today. I've got part one of a 2-video series here that I wanted to show you guys. I'm just calling it Forfeit at 20. I know there's already a ton of content from creators and Riot themselves called Forfeit at 20. But what I wanted to do is really highlight how important it is to not necessarily give up at the 20-minute mark by default. Just because you're behind a huge amount or you hope the other team is going to give up because you're ahead a huge amount. So we're going to take a look at 2 games here, starting with this one. So this first clip here, we're just going to see some trading back and forth, nothing too spectacular. In the early game, we had some casual conversation on our team. It was all pretty lighthearted and fun. I have kept most of it blurred out just because later on in the game, people get pretty upset and pretty toxic and angry at each other. But so first off here, we're looking at a trade here on the bot side. It's kind of an elongated, extended trade. A little bit 2v2 here, but as you can see coming down through the jungle on the blue side, Amumu's coming to help. He's going to be coming through the river. We don't believe that it's warded, but even if it is, I'm going to commit pretty hard here. You'll see me shield up, snare, run straight at the Alawi. Get a decent trade going. Amumu comes in. I throw in an auto on the Vayne and take the first blood kill. Have a mantra ready, use a Q, and Amumu gets the second kill. So the first thing you'll see, we got a couple of signal to be careful pings coming out of our Caitlyn. And that actually is going to be the catalyst for everything that goes on in the rest of this game. So during the dull parts in this game in the video, I'm just going to fast forward through everything and then we'll just slow it down anytime something of importance comes up or is going to happen. So these guys return to lane here. Do a little bit more trading. Nothing too fantastic though. A little more aggressive trading. They've got to back already. We haven't. So we're sitting pretty low HP. Aurelia comes in for a gank, but unfortunately Vayne flashes out of my snare and don't really get anything done there. First recall for me, it's quite a bit of gold. I think it was around 1300 gold. I pick up my upgraded support item as well as ruby crystal and sapphire crystal to go towards an early catalyst if I can, as well as a pink ward of course. It was quite a bit of gold for my first back. I do play a little bit greedy in that I don't go for my vision item right away. I find that I don't lose or win lanes based off of visions that quickly, and so I don't worry about it until typically my second back. My yellow wards and pink wards are typically enough. So we did push up a little bit too far though. We got a kill on Alawi, but the Volibear ended up coming down through their try and grabbing us. And again, just casual conversation. Caitlyn apologizes for her bad positioning. I say no worries, it's all good to go. You're going to see me make a move up the river towards middle there just because both our bot laners are missing. And I'm going to peek ahead and see there's a little bit of a fight going on. Katarina's low, gets flipped by the Volibear, and she gets chomped. Volibear's trying to escape. I throw a mantra Q just because I didn't trust my aim on a standard Q. Snare the Morgana, she snares me in return. There's the Alawi that I couldn't find before. She comes up. They try to pinch me against the wall here, but I feel like I can out-trade and out-survive them, so instead of running away through river, I just run straight at Alawi, trusting that her support damage isn't enough. She flashes, ignites the Amumu. And I think Amumu thought he was going to die regardless, so he came charging back in with his ult. I see the Morgana slick here. I decide to mantra W here for the life spell vamp and lifesteal. Heal up through it, get the kill on her. My team was watching. It was a good fight. Everything turned out really, really well there. A little bit of typing. I apologize to my bot lane for being missing because she did end up losing a 1v1 duel against the Vayne. But it's no big deal. We're just going to head back to bot there. Now they decided to move on to a dragon. And of course, being Karma, I am a walking zoning tool, so I'm able to push them off well enough that we get to secure the dragon very clean. See the teleport from Aurelia coming in, so I decide it's time to chase. I throw it on my sweeper just because I was still out of range for a standard ward, and it'll give us at least outlines of who's in the bush. I follow the Alawi around because the other two are on the turret, and Katarina goes and starts doing her thing. I was hoping to keep her alive with an exhaust on the Volibear. Didn't pan out. Aurelia's low. I give her a flash shield. She makes it out no problem. Here we see more pings from the Caitlyn. So this Caitlyn has a real problem with anybody taking her lane CS. And being an ADC main and support main, I understand how important it is for an ADC to get the farm. And I'd even made comment to her earlier in the game that this has been a rough lane for her so far. The Vayne and the Illaoi were very oppressive and zoning her, and just her autos were just kind of perpetually a little bit off. So she was definitely already feeling it. Plus the Amumu doing a little bit of taxing, and then the Aurelia doing a little bit of taxing there as well. Now this is kind of the most beautiful thing ever. So we're way ahead already. We're 13-6, and we just see in all chat that they're asking for a full report on Nasus for not being around. That's the best thing you can see as an opposing team, because it means that they're already fighting against themselves. If any of you guys have watched any of the videos from Dong Huop, you'll know that he wholly encourages, as a tactic to win, to help the other team flame each other. Don't participate necessarily in it, but acknowledge their sympathies, or their, sympathize with their concerns and their issues. I understand it can be frustrating to not have the Nasus be part of the team, and they'll just take it to a whole nother level. So things are looking way up here. I'm sitting 4-0-6. You guys are going to see here that I'm about to purchase a 14.5-minute Rod of Aegis after completing my support item and tier 1 boots. There's a huge amount of gold for me. What this does is it lets me to pressure all over the map, continue pushes, help zone, be really effective to the team overall. Now, one of the reasons I have the chat blurred out is because our Amumu decided to continue flaming and antagonizing our Caitlyn. So what you're going to see here in a second, if you look just down in the mini-map, is that our Caitlyn has said that she's going to start feeding if Amumu keeps trash-talking. And you can see there she goes past the tier 2 turret, all the way to the inhibitor turret, and she's going to get finished off by Volibear here. And Volibear was already very strong, and we're just giving him even more kills, which is super unfortunate. So there's a little bit of team chat going on about reporting Caitlyn. I'm trying to discourage it, saying, hey, look, we just need to calm down. Everyone refocus. There's no need for any of this. And the whole time, Amumu is just going off further and further and further on this Caitlyn, and Caitlyn is noticeably aggravated. So I've got it paused here just for a second because I wanted to point out a few things. Like I was saying, the Caitlyn was very mad, had been expressing it through all chat, unfortunately, as well as to just our team and our team chat. Very mad, very upset, and was more than ready to start throwing the game away here. So if you look at this pause screen, underneath the blurred text, you'll see that there's some comments from the red team as well now. So at this point, because we'd taken our flaming into all chat, the other team saw this and decided to get involved and decided to start sympathizing sarcastically with the Caitlyn. And this just pushed our Caitlyn further and further and further. And we're going to see the results of that very, very shortly. So the reason that I wanted to call this video Forfeit at 20, or these two videos Forfeit at 20, is because let's take a look at this 20-minute difference between our two teams and how things are going so far. So at this moment here, we're at 19 minutes, about 19 minutes, 40 seconds in the actual game time. And you're going to see that our team is ahead by 9,500 gold. It's not a small lead. We've taken 3 more turrets than they have. We've gotten another dragon, and we've got a tremendous number of kills over this team. Everything is going our way except the in-game communication. Our teammates' communication with each other, and the fact that they're also doing this in all chat. That's what's going to start costing us dramatically in the next several minutes. On this next screen here, let's take a look at how our individual players are doing. So their Vayne is flat at 5-5. Illaoi is down 1-7. Their mid lane Morgana is 0-6 so far. Nasus is sitting at 0-3. And their only positive KDA is Volibear at 6-4. Not super impressive. On our side, our Caitlyn is a bit behind, 3-5-6. So she has plenty of assists and a slight lead in CS. I'm sitting at a very generous 4-0-11. Our mid lane Assassins at 8-4-5. Our Aurelia is at 4-1-1. And our tanky Amumu is 6-2-4. We're winning everywhere. And looking at our entire team, us versus them, we're ahead by 90 CS in total. The advantages are all over the place. Like I mentioned earlier as well, the global objectives, we're way ahead. Unfortunately, even though I'd recommended to the Caitlyn earlier to just mute the Amumu, which she said that she She didn't. She decided to continue listening to his banter and his trash talking and let it affect him or her further and further. And so we start making some pretty blatant mistakes all over the place. Even though we have this massive advantage, our strength together is by being together. Our team fighting ability is massive. I've got huge zoning potential. I've got lots of single target CC, as well as group slowing CC. But things like this here, our Caitlyn was standing there talking, typing out to the Amumu, and she ended up getting hit by a Alawi. Then she's tilted, goes in, tries to kill the Alawi, and the entire team is waiting for her. She eats the Morgana bind, and down she goes. This turns into a super messy team fight, where the only person left alive to defend us is the Amumu, who died just at the very start of it all. The rest of our team, unfortunately, starts trying to take matters into their own hands. It's kind of those classic scenarios where as soon as two people have decided that they're not going to play, and instead of they're just going to argue with each other, the rest of the team tries to start making plays that are going to affect the game globally. And so the first thing we see there is Katarina gets caught out, she's dead. Aurelia tries to go help, she's dead. Their team at a 5v3 advantage immediately moves towards Baron, and they get it. We manage to kill off the Vayne, but we meet the Nasus for the first time, who completely tears through us. This is a player who had been ignored from about the 14-minute mark on. Now what we're going to see here in a few seconds is pretty much the last time my team has it together, which is unfortunate. We take the dragon, move towards mid. We see that they're pressuring quite heavily, and we come together for a team fight. Amumu's coming off a red, Aurelia comes up from the bottom jungle, and we collapse as quickly as we can. I unfortunately get caught up on the Morgana bind, but it pulls them all in close enough where the Amumu can ult, Katarina can ult, and Aurelia could tear through them and do her thing. Nasus does come in at the end and collects a couple of kills, but at the end of this fight, we have our Katarina alive, and more importantly, we've got our Caitlyn alive. They're going to be able to take this fight all the way down the mid lane through all of the minions and secure that middle turret and that inhibitor. And now it's time to check in with our team's scores and individually. Vayne has a positive KDA now. Nasus has plenty of kills, and their Volibear is way ahead, having secured 8 additional kills since our last check-in and only dying once. On our team, it's looking much worse. I'm nearly flat in kills and deaths, from trying to help the adventurous Aurelia, Amumu, and Katarina all over the map. Our Aurelia is now 6-6, and our Amumu has died 5 times since we checked in last, and not a significant amount of time has gone by. This is not looking good for us, unfortunately. Still feeling like we can pull our heads out of our asses, I go into our team chat and say, guys, our team fighting is huge. My hope here is for everyone to realize that the last team fight that we had, the last proper team fight we had, we aced them and had our 2 most key players up and alive still pushing the objectives. However, if you take a look at the mini-map, you'll see that we've got Caitlyn solo pushing top lane and Aurelia solo pushing bot lane. This isn't where we want to find ourselves. Our 1-3-1 is not good. We've proven it time and time again up until this point. As we continue on in a second here, you're going to see that the Caitlyn gets trapped and caught by the Nasus. I head towards her to help, but she's dead too quickly. Coming up behind me is Katarina, who gets caught by a Morgana bind. I try to zone off the rest of their team, and Amumu jumps in to help, getting himself killed. Our Aurelia loses a 1v1 to Vayne in the bot lane, leaving Katarina and I mid to defend this turret. As you can imagine, it goes down. After losing the mid turret, I do try to reason with the team once again that maybe we should be sticking together and that we should be trying to do these fights as a team. Unfortunately, Aurelia TP's top. She gets collapsed on and has to burn her flash to escape. We gather towards the bot and start a little bit of a siege. Unfortunately, the Katarina does take a little bit too much damage, and we decide to back off so that she can heal up and we can come at this again, perhaps from another side. On our way out, we do manage to secure another dragon, which is a little bit of icing on eventually what's going to be the shit cake. Spoiler alert, but what you're going to see here is they shove us mid, and we seem to have pushed them off. Heading out a little bit further, I notice that Nasus is walking through lane by himself, and the rest of the team is missing, so I ping out the Baron. Now, this isn't a, hey, let's go commit to Baron, it's, let's go see what's going on. We see Morgana throw a failed bind. The second we saw the Morgana on the outside of the pit, we should have realized that this was a bait. Unfortunately, the Katarina still goes deep. Caitlyn does pick up a kill, but their front line is so massive, they tear through us. Where was Aurelia? Top lane. Where was Amumu? He just recalled. We didn't have two of our tankiest members of our team, and pretty much all of our CC was gone. And there's the ace. From this, we do end up losing our middle turret and our middle inhibitor. Now, they don't have enough damage where they decide not to push this to end right now, and instead they head straight towards Baron. We talk it out as a team, decide that they're probably doing it rather than baiting it. We run over, throw them onto Q. It's already too late. Baron's gone. Now they've got a Baron for a final push, as well as a mid inhibitor down. Their mid inhibitor is respawned, so things aren't looking great for us at all. We walk a little bit too far out into the jungle, try to wrangle everybody back in, but we're still looking for these picks, which just don't exist because they're roaming together now. Try to hold the outer turret, it goes down. Try to defend mid through supers, we can't do it. It's too much damage. We get cleaned up here again. At this point, they push in to end the game. That's it. Defeat screen. And here's the post-game screen. Now, I did just put in a snapshot. I didn't continue the video of this because, as you could imagine, things were still really aggressive between everybody in the post-game lobby. There was a ton more flaming, a lot of blaming, of course, as is typical in a post-game defeat screen. It's just really unfortunate. What I think is key to keep in mind here is we're going to take a look at the gold advantage chart, and what you'll see is that we didn't throw this through a single team fight or two. We didn't make a dumb call, get aced, and lose the game off of that. Sure, we lost a couple of advantages here and there through some dumb plays, but that's not what cost us the game. It was the entire midsection where there was so much fighting amongst everybody that instead of making clean, clear decisions across the map, everyone started playing for themselves or playing against each other, and that's what cost us the game. Let's take a look at this gold advantage chart over time. What you're going to see is that midsection of the game, the 24 to 28 minute mark, was the steepest change in gold across the entire game. That right there is when we were fighting with each other. That's when we were flaming each other. That's when we weren't playing the game and we were trying to hurt each other's feelings instead. And I know that there can be a lot of discussion about, well, maybe the Caitlyn shouldn't have been so reactive to the CS, or, oh, the jungler definitely shouldn't have taken the CS that he did. What we really need to look at, though, is none of those things needed to be said at all. Nothing positive was gained by saying them. I guarantee the Caitlyn didn't have a good time. The Amumu didn't enjoy himself. And that was all because of the conversation and confrontation that they insisted on doing. So not only did we throw the game that we had locked up, and we also threw away 40 minutes of fun. And League of Legends is still fun for me. I'm one of those crazy people who not only main support, but I enjoy playing the game almost every single game. Just a real shame to see. So, the game, which should have been a forfeit at 20 for this other team, wasn't, because we gave them advantages that we didn't have to. And they just held out long enough, and we kept throwing, that they ended up turning it on us. Is there a lesson in all of this? I don't know. But maybe I can just ask that if we're in a game together and somebody has annoyed you, just mute them, play the game. Even if you don't win, at least you weren't aggravated any further. That's it for now. We'll see you guys in part 2.